Is there a right way to hold a guitar pick? Is there a wrong way? Are there better ways? Are there worse ways? Using a guitar pick is one of those things that a lot of people think they know how to do when maybe they really don't. So guitar picks come in every shape, every size, every material imaginable, and there's so many different variables and technique that I don't want to cover everything today. As a matter of fact, I can't cover everything. I don't even know everything. But what I can talk about is some basic fundamental technique. If you're an absolute beginner, this is going to be vital that you learn this stuff. If you're a guitar teacher, these are things that are going to be very helpful in structuring how you work with students and how you help them progress from being absolute beginners to being accomplished players. Principle number one, you want to hold the pick in between the pad of your thumb and the pad of your finger, not on the side. There's a lot of books that are going to tell you the opposite of what I'm saying, but here's the foundation for my reasoning. You pick things up with the pads of your fingers. If you're going to lift up a guitar pick off of a table, you're going to use the pad of your thumb and the pad of your finger. You have more dexterity and more fine motor control with the pads of your fingers than you do with the side. So why are we holding the pick in the side of our finger? Well, there's an established tradition there, but beyond that, I don't know that there really is a very good reason for doing that. There are a lot of people who play that way, and it's not going to hinder you from becoming a great player, but it's kind of a weird traditional technique that doesn't really help a lot. It just doesn't. It's not natural. It's not so unnatural that it doesn't work, but it's just, I don't know why people do it. Okay? I don't know why. Hold it like this. That's the way your body wants to work. Like, that doesn't make very much sense. Principle number two, when it comes to strumming, if you never drop your pick, you're grabbing it too hard. A lot of students, when they start strumming for the first time, get a very harsh, brash sort of sound out of the guitar because they're holding onto the pick with what I would like to call a death grip, and they're not allowing the pick to push their fingers apart as the strings shove on the pick. They're expecting the pick to purely just flex in order to move across the strings. And this results in the pick slapping into the strings, giving a very harsh, unbalanced sound. And it's very difficult to actually get an even sound out of all of your strings when you use that death grip technique. So the solution is, don't hold it too tight. Use a loose enough grip that you're almost going to drop the pick, but not quite. And this way you will get the most beautiful sound possible out of your guitar. A lot of people will compensate by using very thin nylon picks that are extremely flexible, and this is a great option for people who are struggling with this technique or just starting out. But if you know how to use this technique, it doesn't matter what material you're using or how thick of a material the pick is made from, you can get a beautiful, soft sound out of your guitar every single time. Principle number three, when you're playing, you want to have direct tactile contact with your instrument. Okay, in plain English, you want to have your hand resting on something. Do this experiment with me. Take a pencil and a sheet of paper and set the sheet of paper down on a flat surface and then write out your name. Then I want you to write out your name underneath that, but only allow the tip of the pencil to touch the paper. Do not allow any part of your hand, your fingers, your wrist, your forearm, your elbow to rest on yourself or on the tabletop or anything. Make sure that it is floating in space. What you will find is that it's much more difficult to control that pencil and write clearly because you have so much mass in your entire arm that's moving. Trying to have fine motor control when a lot of mass is moving, in other words, your big old arm, is very, very difficult. When a lot of students start playing, they try to control the pick without letting their hand rest on the strings or the top of the guitar. This seems very intuitive. You don't want to touch the thing that's making sound. But then they have so much trouble trying to get their pick exactly where they want it without looking at it because they're trying to control a fine motor skill while moving their entire arm around. So the solution to this is to rest your hand against the strings. If you need to hear all of the strings or the bass strings, let it rest against the top or allow your fingertips to rest against the top of the guitar below the treble strings. And on a side note, hold the pick fairly near the tip. There's this cult of guitar players who love the Dunlop Jazz 3 picks because they're tiny. And a lot of people think that they're just a fast pick because of their size. But the truth is that that very, very small pick only sticks out of your hand very minimally, which means that the tip of the pick is very close to your skin. You'll know where the edge of your thumb is in space very easily if your hand is resting on something. But it's very difficult when you have a piece of plastic that's sticking out maybe 1/8 to 3/8 of an inch from the side of your hand, it's difficult to know where that piece of plastic is in space because you have no nerve endings in that plastic. So the closer the tip of the pick is to the side of your thumb, the more spatial awareness you will have for that pick, because it will feel like an extension of your body and not some alien object that you really can't feel at all. So summing this up, the 3 pillars of good picking technique are: number 1, hold the pick between the pads of your finger and thumb. Number 2, don't hold it tightly, but hold it rather loosely, especially when strumming, to get a much more even sound. And number 3, when picking individual notes, make sure you're holding the pick near the tip and allow part of your hand, your thumb, or your fingertips to rest somewhere on the top of the guitar to give you a much better spatial awareness and fine motor control. If you found this video helpful to you or your students, or you found it interesting, if it pissed you off, let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want more content. I've got 2 videos every week. And if you want to support me or see content early, head over to the Patreon link in the video description and you can become one of my patrons. My name is Walstead. This has been Guitar Teacher Basics, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.